This is an archive in an old historical building, and I'm staying here tonight, not in the archive but in the town where it is. It's called Levoča. It's an old historical town in Slovakia. It's a UNESCO World Heritage site, and let's go for a walk. Let's see what we can see here. This is the main square with a lot of historical buildings, and from what I can see, the mass tourism didn't quite reach here, so it's not destroyed like many places nowadays, and not overrun by tourists, at least not on this working day. So what do they say here? They say historical centrum of Levoča, that's the name of the town, is encircled by walls along 2.5 kilometers. That's almost 1.5 miles. And the square has more than 60 houses, mostly from 14th and 15th century. The square is rectangular, and as I said, is lined with 60 burgher and patrician houses. And in the center of the square is the Basilica of Saint James, the ancient town hall, the Cage of Shame, and the Evangelical Church. So let's see all those beautiful places that they mentioned here. Wow. They say in April at night, from April 13 to 14 in 1950, they arrested all the monks here, and state government, communist government, took over the monastery until 1994. Wow. It was a brutal time for religious folks and clergy in general. Oh wow, I see the door open. The church may be open. And yes, it is. Wow, it's very richly decorated, I have to say that. Oh, let's have a look at the ceiling. Really nice. And of course, above the entrance is the organ, because music or hymns and singing, church choir, always used to be part of religious life. This is the city wall. See the man? I just want to walk through the gate, and we can see it from here very nicely too. Well, it's not the Great Wall of China, but it's impressive in its own way too. It's late afternoon, almost evening, so the stores are closed. This is not a 24-hour a day culture here, that you can go at any time of the day and buy in this old town. your groceries or whatever. This is a statue of a famous Slovak writer, Levoča. This is the famous church, cathedral maybe. It is supposed to have the highest altar in the country, I think. And a hotel in a nice restored historical building right next to the city hall, because this ahead of us is the church obviously, but here a little bit to the left is the city hall. And a very nice park, so you can relax after you deal with the folks, with the local government folks. The church is locked. Basilica of Saint Jacob. And here on the back side of the city hall they have some information. You can buy the tickets to the basilica if you are a visitor or a tourist. Of course, if you participate in the mass, then of course you don't pay any entry ticket, but by the same token, believer or tourists, you are not allowed to take pictures. Here they say that the most important in the basilica is the work of 16th century artist. It's a Gothic main altar, 18.62 meters, made of linden wood. It's considered to be the largest of its kind in the world. Yeah, you can actually climb to the tower of Saint Jacob. If you come at the right time, which is just 4 times a day. Okay, and this is the historical town hall, the ticket office. Again, I'm late because no one would work here after 5 p.m. But never mind, we can at least admire the outside of the historical old city hall. So maybe we should take a peek of those wooden statues. Very nicely carved out. Okay, a lady on the left is holding the key, the man in the middle on his knees has a bowl in his hands, and this gentleman on the right has a stick, walking stick, I guess. Yeah, again, open from 9 to 5, the last entry at 3:30. in front of us is where I am staying. And I actually asked and got one of those rooms that you can see facing the square here. So I have actually a pretty good view out of my window. It is shortly before 7 a.m. and I was just about ready to leave, and I decided just to look around a little bit one last time, because it's so peaceful and quiet here in this ancient little town in Slovakia. No one's here, no tourists. You can see the square is completely empty, which is really beautiful. Here actually on the right side is a memorial to the Red Army, to the Soviets who liberated this town from Nazi Germany. And of course that was a different time. Now many people view Red Army in a completely different light, as an aggressor, not a liberator, even though I am not exactly sure what people here in Slovakia think, but I think some of them support Putin, especially, as far as I know, some government figures, together with Orban, the leader of Hungary. And here it goes. Red Army liberated January 27, 1945, the town of Levoča. And someone put fresh flowers, or not fresh, doesn't matter. Well, the fact is that they liberated the town, so those were the different times. So one more time, thank you for watching. Take care. Hope you found the video at least a little bit interesting, and see you next time. Goodbye.